Hello and welcome to the Ladies Best Life podcast. I am Sasha Bai and I am super excited to have you here with me today. Firstly, I'm going to ask you to give this podcast a share. Make sure that you have given us a little bit of a review as well, because honestly, this helps us so much. So please, please, please head over and do that. Now, getting into what we're talking about today. We are talking about how vague your goals are and how that can really hinder your progress. A lot of people will say things like, I want to drop a few pounds, or I want to get fit, or I wish I could eat better. These are almost just like ideas. They're almost just like a stab in the dark. They don't really help us know exactly where it is that we're going. And even more importantly, exactly how we're going to get there. So have you caught yourself saying goals like, oh, I just want to be fit, or yeah, my goal this summer is to eat better? Have you caught yourself saying things like that? Because if you have, and then you failed, you really shouldn't be surprised. Because honestly, guys, it's like putting, I want to go somewhere, or I don't know, saying that you want to go to Scotland in the sat nav, but not being specific about what part, is exactly the same here. Because when we know exactly where you want to get to, we can, one, decide whether it's realistic or not. So therefore we can go, yes, this is something that we 100% can achieve. We can then, two, strategize and make sure we are reverse engineering back from the goal, and we can get you there. All it will take then is, one, time, and we can't always predict that. And two, we can then start to look at the exact strategies that it will take, the habits and the lifestyle changes that we need to make along the way in order to get you there. So if you're just currently plucking up these ideas and you're not really sure on how you're going to get there, it's almost just like a bit of a wish. Let's start to change that. Let's today sit down and be like, right, what is this thing that I've been saying I want to achieve? What is it? Doesn't matter what it is. It could be a business goal. It could be a family goal. It could be anything. Let's focus on what it is first. Then what I want you to think about is, how can I really dial that in? How can I really get specific on that? So let's use fat loss, for example. So say you're like, oh, I just want to lose weight. How much? Okay, so I'm currently 14 stone. I want to get down to 12. Okay, so we want to lose 2 stone. Ideally, realistically, how long? Well, if it was a lifestyle change, it would probably take me about 8 to 12 months. And you might be there going, bloody hell, that's a long time. What, longer than you've been spinning your wheels for and trying these fad diets? Probably not. So it might feel like a long time, but if it's just, say, 8 months for you to get to your goal and to never be back in this position again of spinning your wheels, is that really a long time? Because a lot of the people I speak to have been yo-yo dieting, they have been struggling and, stop start mentality, or we'll start again on Monday, for 20 plus years. So if we say 8 months, that's not really that long. So once we can dial in the specific goal, and we can dial in a bit of a time frame, which you might need someone in your corner to help you with that, because often we're way off par when it comes to setting those time frames and time zones. We're never usually anywhere near what it will actually take. We just expect to be able to click our fingers and for it to happen. Well, yeah, that's not going to happen. It takes a lot of work and effort. And then what we have to do is go, right, what will it take in order to get you there? So we put those habits in place. We need to factor in for the fact that you might be going on holiday. Within that time, there'll be Christmas. Like, there are so many different things we have to consider. And also, if it is weight that we're going by, we probably have to look at the other things as well, like measurements and also your progress pictures, because your weight will fluctuate and have nothing to do with body fat. So we need to not just make sure it's the weight side of things, because imagine if you've lost body fat, but because the scales haven't moved, you then throw an absolute hissy fit. Well, that would be a bit of a waste, wouldn't it? So we really want to focus on what are the other metrics for success that we can monitor along the way. So I want you to just think about that. Really think about, what is it that you want to achieve? What is the time frame that you want it in? Is it realistic? Can you do it? And are you willing to do the work if you like? We want to be precise, but we also need to be willing to adapt. Okay, a lot of people feel the need when they get on their journey, they think they absolutely have to stick to it. They almost feel afraid of changing their mind. And this is something that I find quite easy to do, but from the outside, it can potentially look a little bit reckless. So for me, for example, I did 11 months of no drinking, was kind of set out to do 12, and went to Ibiza to one of my beautiful clients' weddings. And I just thought, you know what? I really fancy a glass of fizz. And I really don't want to miss out on the, what was it, champagne, mango champagne sorbet or something. I was like, I've never had that in my life. And I had a couple of drinks and it was amazing. Sure, I could have still had a great time without it. And maybe some people would be like, oh, it's bloody pointless. You did 11 months. I couldn't give a flying fuck. You know, for me, I did what I wanted to do. I went with that moment, and I had the willingness and the self-acceptance and also the courage to change my path. You might do that as well. It's exactly the same with someone who maybe was striving towards a fat loss goal, maybe for a specific number in regards to weight, got so far and thought, actually, this really doesn't bring me much. I'm just going to maybe sit here or maybe gain a little bit of weight. And then I'm going to choose another goal, something else that's going to light me up in a bit of a different way. So a bit of food for thought, but please don't be too rigid with yourself when we're looking at maybe allowing the plans to change, allowing the goals to change, even if they're like completely ridiculously specific and you know exactly how long it's going to take to get you there and all of those wonderful things, and you change your mind, guess what? You're a grown adult. That is absolutely fine. Two things that I believe that you'll need in order to help towards this goal. One, we need focus. That does not mean that you need to focus every waking minute of every day on this goal, but there needs to be some element towards it. So looking at all of the factors that will help you to achieve the goal. If it's fat loss, we're looking at movement, rest and recovery, and we're looking at nutrition. There are obviously many other factors involved, and obviously mindset will be quite a big factor because what we think will often lead into our behaviors. So if we're not looking at that, we're often just fixing it with a surface level kind of approach and method, if you like, and we might need to just backtrack a little bit. So once we've got that in place, we've got the real strong kind of clear, like action step, if you like. We know what it is that we need to do. Then we just need to focus on it. We need to make sure that all of the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted, and we know exactly where we're going. From there, who here has broken promises to themselves? Who here says every fucking Monday, I'm going to start again on Monday? Who here is like, oh God, I just can't do it. I know exactly what I need to do, but I just can't do it. Guess what? This is lack of accountability. There is also probably something going on with self-worth. Like if you could do it for your career, or you could do it if someone was basically cracking a whip, then why can't we do it for ourselves? It's hard. I have a coach, therapist, and a mentor for a reason, because I want a boardroom of absolute experts, people who I trust with my life, to hold me up when the shit hits the fan or when I need some clarity and direction. And they're there every time. So we need to look at that. So where are you going to get your accountability from? How are you going to hold yourself accountable? How are you going to make this work amongst every other single plate that you've got spinning at the minute? Are you realistically going to do it on your own? Or do you need to try and find some element of accountability from an external force? The answer is usually yes. If you're a busy, working, driven female, you're ambitious, you've got so many plans, or you just want to be the best mum you can be, and you've got all these different things that you want to do, and you're overwhelmed and you've got so much going on in your life, how do you expect to spin another plate? You can't. And especially if you're not 100% sure that the methods that you've agreed to do in order to get you to the goal, if you're not sure if they're actually going to get you there, if you don't know for a fact, if I do X, Y, Z religiously, with consistency, with focus, it's going to get me there. If I do that, and if you know that, you might be more likely to do it on your own. Usually though, our time management is poor, we don't have structure, and because of the lower self-worth, we really struggle to believe that we are the type of person that deserves that life. Very deep, I know. So don't forget, if you're struggling with this, ask yourself the question, how much longer am I willing to struggle with this for? Because a new life could literally just be around the corner for you. And I'm not saying this for you to join the coaching club or whatever, But sometimes you need to grab the bull by the horns and lean into the support around you, lean into someone who can help you, whether that be me, James Smith, Joe Wicks, whoever, I don't care. Find someone to help you if you're not helping yourself. Invest in yourself rather than leaning into instant gratification, like buying a handbag or a bottle of wine in the evenings, or just spending money on shit that you don't need, new trainers, perfume, whatever. Lean in, because trust me, if you find the right coach for you, these goals, this vision, and all those wonderful things that you desperately want to achieve will happen. And the guessing work and the spinning of your wheels will be taken out of it. So I would love to hear, what is the big goal that maybe was a bit fluffy that you originally said? And what is the one that we're dialing in? So how are we going to get really specific on this goal? I would love for you to pop me a message in my inbox. Let me know so that I can help you. Have an incredible day, team. Speak soon.